Hey, and we're back. The camera snuck up on me. Guys, we've got Glenn Schofield here and Mark Rubin.
Yep.
Here to talk to us all about Modern Warfare 3. Guys, I'd like to say it was worth the wait getting you guys here onto the stage. I know our audience is very eager to check out Modern Warfare 3.
Good.
Thanks a lot for dropping by.
Sure, thanks for having us.
So you guys demoed the game at the Microsoft press conference.
Yep.
Tell us about the sort of reaction that you got from that game. Was it the sort of reaction you were expecting?
Yeah, it was great, and we had a fantastic reception. You know, from developers, from execs, from everybody was there. You know, people coming up to us before and after, and so far I think it's been fantastic.
Yeah, it has. I mean, as a developer, your head's down making the game for what seems like centuries,
Right.
And then to do that first reveal is always super exciting. It's so much fun and
You
lots
wonder
of
how it's
great
going to
comments.
go, and then
Yeah.
So we've got a build of the game running right here. So if you guys want to just go ahead and give us the setup, explain to us what's going on and what's happening here.
Sure. Well, Modern Warfare 3 takes place right after Modern Warfare 2, and so if you remember, DC was burning and Task Force 141 was either dead or on the run. The Russian army has now moved into Manhattan and has taken that over, and actually has air superiority. And what we are is we've joined a Delta Force squad to try and get into Manhattan and to take down the comms tower, so that we can get back and take over the city again. And here you are going down to try and take out the comms tower.
In the heart of New York, which is the greatest part. And we had to really do a lot of work to get this to work out, because big cities are excruciatingly difficult to do.
I would imagine,
So there's a lot of new engine work that went into that.
Plus, trying to get the detail of Manhattan right. And good thing some of us live there.
Yeah. Well, that's a tough one, because you do like random village in the Middle East, and it's like, okay, well, I don't really know what a random village looks like. So if they show me that, it's like, okay, that's what it looks like. But this is New York.
It's an iconic city.
Yeah,
if you mess up a street, they're gonna call you out.
They're
on
gonna
it.
definitely know. So yeah, but it's fun. It's more fun that way too. I like it.
And we had to duplicate that all across the globe, right?
Yeah, every big city, not just New York. I think one of the things you see here is he's got a dual scope setup. So he's got a Neotech holographic sight on his weapon, and then behind that he has what's called a magnifier. And basically, when it's closed like that, it works like an ACOG from previous games. But then he can flip it over when you go into room to room, and you can do the shorter range combat. So that's definitely something new for MW3. And you may see in other modes, but, that we're not talking about yet.
Let's talk about the what you guys have done under the hood with this game. I know the engine is sort of like it's an evolving beast from game to game. What are some of the right? So what sort of work have you guys done in terms of the look and feel of this game?
Well, there's a lot of major work went into it. I mean, the audio system was one of the big things that we brought up, so that you can hear whiz-bys and just a lot lower. We've put a lot of time and energy into getting more on the screen. Like in this case, we've got skyscrapers. We've got jets flying overhead. We've got guys and tons of people running down the streets. In other areas, we've got you're in the water, and you've got a whole armada of ships. The city's in the background, and you've got water. So we've done a lot of work there, a lot of new tools.
Yeah, a lot of new AI tweaks too. So for instance, right now we're showing single player, but one of the other modes that we're showing at E3 is Spec Ops, and that actually we had to create a whole new AI system for, because we didn't want the experience to feel just like, a bunch of single player guys in a level. We have them dynamically change their path to you, depending on where you are on the map, and it was all a whole bunch of new AI types plus new types of enemies to fight. So
every part of the engine gets touched.
Yeah, we call it's 5.0 of our engine, basically.
Yeah.
So we do name it, we just don't name it out in public and make a big deal of it. We're not about the engine, we're about, hey, guess what? We make great games and they're
Sure.
fun to play. So
But the main thing, the one rule that we have, no matter what, no matter how much we have on the screen, is that this game has to run at 60 frames a
Yeah.
second.
Right.
always will. No one
Sort
else
of a
does that.
golden
Never
rule
get-
of Call of Duty.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, the idea of pacing has always been very key to the Call of Duty games. That sort of like crazy roller coaster up
Yeah.
and down pacing. You guys at that event from a couple of weeks ago, you guys showed that London Underground level, which was just crazy and off the wall.
Yeah.
This one, it sort of starts off a little slower and then it ramps up into that big. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but what made you guys decide to focus on this New York chapter in terms of giving people this introduction to the game?
I think the big thing was it worked. It works extremely well with our story, and story was very important. But it was also something recognizable. People from all over the world, know New York. Also, a good chance for people to kind of go, oh yeah, this is Call of Duty again, because we want you to get back into the action,
Right.
Right away. It's something you knew and you enjoyed, and this is the kind of combat that people are used to. But then, there are some pretty hairy moments in this level.
Right.
Yeah, this is definitely a storytelling level.
Yeah.
It's just an introduction to our Delta Force squad that you're going to follow throughout the game, and so it's a very important level when it comes to that. But it's also a lot of this is sort of the bread and butter Call of Duty combat that people really love, and mixed in, obviously, as you said, you don't want to spoil the ending, but mixed in is some epic moments.
There's some crazy stuff coming.
We're
Yeah.
introducing, right? He was just playing the XM25, which is a new grenade launcher. And what it does is, let's say somebody's hiding behind something, and in this case, a lot of them are behind cars or sandbags. What it does is it calculates how far away you are, and it shoots a grenade just above it, and about a meter out from there, and just explodes down. So anybody behind that is, well, they're gone. And this is a new weapon that they're using right now out in the field.
Yeah, he's firing it right now. So he lasers apart, then aims, and then it fires, explodes right behind it.
Yeah.
One of the other things with New York is that us as game players as well, we like to fight in iconic places,
Right.
And
You've
places
got the
you
New York
understand.
Stock Exchange right here.
Right,
Yeah.
And and last was just trying to. We always wanted to kind of have a battle through the canyons of Manhattan,
Right.
flying through the buildings and all that. And, that's a pretty hairy moment in this level as well.
Yeah.
So let's talk about. Obviously, we're looking at New York right here. We mentioned London. It's always such an international experience. Call of Duty games. You've got those dual stories going side by side. How do you guys pick which cities you want in the game? Because I feel like, it's tempting to go with I want this one, I want this one, I want this one. How do you decide?
I think on this one we didn't decide. We just did them all.
Yeah.
It feels like.
In a way, yeah.
I think we picked them all.
Yeah. Part of
because-
it was with this one was okay. We want to show iconic cities, but it was also there was a progression across the map that we had to follow in terms of the story, right?
It had to make sense where you went to one city and go to the next and next, not just World Tour Call of Duty kind of thing. It was, It's you're pushing through Europe, so you hit London, you hit you hit Paris, you hit Berlin. We have some other cities that we haven't talked about yet and haven't shown.
Then you have another army, pushing.
Yeah,
pushing
you work
its
with
way
other
through the other way.
armies,
Yeah.
German army, the French army. So you get to see all those guys.
Now, in terms of storytelling, in terms of Modern Warfare, it was really hard to fault the last game, but if you could sort of nitpick one, the story was a little hard to follow at times.
Yeah.
Is that a point that you guys are addressing with
Yes,
the third game?
absolutely. And I'll be the first to admit it too. When we did that game, it made sense to us at the time, maybe,
Yeah.
but we got maybe didn't quite put enough storytelling in it. And so, and these guys, from their pedigree, are strong storytellers too. So when we both had the idea before we even met that
Right.
this needs to have stronger storytelling, we definitely took that as a big part of what we're doing. But we still have, if you've seen from the Microsoft press conference, we still have those just, oh my God, that's an amazing epic moment.
Right, absolutely. That's
What was great is when we came on and we sat down with Infinity Ward for the first time, very first time, we came out as fans, right? and we're like, kind of just testing the water, and like, well, here's kind of the idea that we were thinking that, we would go if we were making the game, and it happened to be almost the exact same lines that they were. Like, yeah, we want to take this to Europe. We want to have epic battles. We want to make this much bigger. Even some of the cities, some of the ideas were, it was crazy how much aligned we were. And we've been working on the story right since day one together, and we'll probably be putting the last touches on it the day we ship it. It's that important to us. Yeah. We read what people say.
All right. Here we're seeing. Is this the Predator missile?
Reaper.
Reaper.
Predator. It's basically the newest version of the Predator. Yeah.
This is something that was, I believe, introduced in Modern Warfare 2. What sort of reaction did you get from fans to decide that we have to bring this over to Modern Warfare 3?
I think it's kind of strange because I didn't anticipate it when we made Modern Warfare 1 even.
Yeah.
That things like the AC-130 level would be so big.
Right.
But when you talk to people about it, those are some of the most memorable moments.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh my God, I'm playing an FPS shooter, and now I'm in an AC-130 shooting people on the ground.
It's that sort of change of pace.
Yeah, and it totally changes the pace. Gives you a new experience. We did it differently in Modern Warfare 2. We did the Predators. We introduced Predators. And in this one, we have Predators and some other things that we're not showing yet. But and it's definitely the next iteration of that. It's a 2.0 version of that with some twists that you'll see when you buy the game.
And you'll notice we're throwing a lot of that at you in the first level.
Right.
It's just like, all right, well, that was stuff you almost had to earn in the last one. We're throwing it right at you to let you know that there's a lot more coming after that.
Yeah, you're already invested in the fight at the start of this game, right?
Yeah.
You've got a lot of technology at your disposal.
Yeah. Well, that's a great part of it is one of the things we've done in the past a bit, and really are concentrating on this time, is we have the Delta Force. They've got the full backing of the American Army. They've got all the cool toys, all the high-tech stuff. And then you have another group, which we haven't talked about, that doesn't. They have the low-tech stuff. They're, scratching by on whatever they can find. So when
ingenuity,
that contrast is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be great.
You guys are selling that very well. I'm very interested to see what the second faction is going to be like.
Yep.
Now, I guess this is sort of a highlight of the, you were talking about the work that you've done to the engine in order to do big cities like this. I imagine this was probably a headache to actually develop, but it looks cool right now.
Yeah, this was a monster. But a lot of it was, but we stuck to our vision no matter how hard something like this. It's those ones that you think are just too hard to do that's when you know you've got something special,
right,
and that you're going to just do it no matter what. And a lot of this we work with our military colleagues to how would you take down a Hind? How would you do some of this when you're outgunned and outmanned?
The sub part too. I remember talking to our Navy SEAL guy and having him talk about how they would take out a sub, and I'm like, wow, really? You really would do that? Like, all right. No one's going to believe this, but we'll put it in.
But we told him, here's how we would do it, and he just laughed.
Yeah.
No, this is how you think of it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
And they're the ones that let us know about all the new features, a lot of the new stuff that we've got.
Cool. Well, there we have it. That's the title of the game that just popped up on the screen there. So we have officially reached the end of the demo. But guys, I appreciate you coming by and showing us Modern Warfare 3.
Thanks so much for having us.
It was a lot of
really
fun.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
for having us.
absolutely.
Thanks.
The last question, the standard one before I let you go. When is the game going to be out in stores?
November 8th.
November 8th.
Yep.
All right. Just a few months away.
Yep.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
Can't wait.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. So that does it for our live stage show coverage for today, but we're not done with the show today, actually. We're going to be doing some fun stuff tonight. There's some evening events going on, highlighted by a Gears of War event that we're going to be bringing you live with our fancy backpack camera technology. So be sure to stick around for that tonight, and thanks again for watching, everybody.